Have you heard about Hubie Halloween? Hubie Halloween?
I don't know how it's pronounced.
Hobie Halloween. I don't know how it's pronounced either.
I know what you're talking
the new
about.
Adam Sandler film.
Yes.
Which is...
on Netflix.
Yes. Lucky, Happy, Hubie, Hopi, Billy Gilmore? Or is it Happy Madison? Happy Madison. I think that's... Okay, we got it.
Okay.
That's how they did it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that the Adam Sandler production wing?
I don't know.
Okay. You know what? This isn't for you, but you have to participate anyway. This is for the listeners.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great show. Anyway, they have a new movie on Netflix in time for Halloween.
Yes.
Called Hubie Halloween, if that's how it's pronounced, if that's really your name.
Yeah.
And it's apparently really great. I find that incredibly hard to believe.
As
I've been making fun of the Netflix splash art for it for months now.
Yeah.
Where Kevin James's character, and maybe this is part of the character. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. But maybe this is part of the character. But it's just clearly wearing like a terrible wig,
like a mullet wig.
Yeah, but it's like you can.
Yeah.
It's not even the weave isn't woven. Like it's just sitting on his head.
Yep.
Now again, maybe that's part of the character. I don't know. But I have heard from semi-reliable sources that this is pretty good, and it's almost hilarious to say that it is like a return to form for an actor whose form just mathematically is terrible films.
Right.
To return to the form of the Happy Gilmores and the Billy Madisons of the mid-90s.
Those were peak. Those were good Adam
right,
Sandler
but that
films.
is a sad assessment of a long career.
True.
But apparently it is designed to be that in a way. Maybe throw a little Waterboy in because he's playing, a kind of a character.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Thermos Boy was one of his SNL characters. This is like a recycling of an old character. But it has Julie Bowen in it. I think Rob Schneider.
Mm-hmm.
They're pulling a lot of the old people in. It's almost like an Avengers film of the Happy Madison productions. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But not for one. Not for one cast member. One brave Boston news anchor who was fired for being in the film.
What?
Morning news anchor Alina Pinto was in the film. She is a local Boston news anchor. Boston, of course, the old stomping grounds of Mr. Happy Gilmore himself, Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And she was in the film. I've seen the scene because it's on social medias or on YouTube's or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's just doing like it's a solid gag. It's a solid gag because she is trying to do the news and she's dressed up for Halloween news. And so she's wearing a Harley Quinn outfit. But it turns out like all the other women in the news studio have all come as Harley Quinn.
Well, that's a good joke.
It's a solid gag.
Yeah, because there are so many people who dress up as Harley Quinn.
Good stuff. She got fired because apparently appearing. Well, this is like if you are, and I'm not sure if this is true or not. I know a couple news people, and they are all very down to earth. They're not at all what you'd think of as. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
The point is, you'd think that you'd have like an agent or a lawyer or something that would like you run your offers and your things through.
Yeah.
And they would go, oh, no. Remember in your contract, it says that you can't appear in outside productions, which was apparently the case here. And so she was let go. Now.
What? For a movie that has absolutely nothing to do with the news? And she just
it's part of her contract.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll find out like how successful Hubie Halloween has been because maybe there will be a fan outcry and she can get that job back. Or maybe she's a terrible person, a bad employee, and they were just looking for something concrete that they could get rid of her. I don't want to put that on her. I don't know her at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it seems so weird and abrupt that
it does.
Yeah, maybe let's get this girl rehired.
Yeah, right. Wow. I guess that's why you got to read your contract all the way through.
What I was trying to say about the news people is that like I know a lot I how do you become a news person? And
I don't know.
I just imagine that you grow up.
I went to college with somebody who, I was a theater major.
You ever seen To Die For? Gus Van Sant's To Die For?
No.
It's not going to help this conversation. Go ahead.
I was just going to say somebody who is another fellow theater major just a year after me. She's a news anchor.
Sure, yeah, and because she's from theater.
Yeah.
And you'd think that like you grow up idolizing Willard Scott or whatever, and then you go to college, get your communications or your on-camera TV degree, and then you just go to a small market, and then you go to a bigger market, and the goal is network, right?
Right.
And all the people I know who are on the news all got their in different ways. You know, they were a scientist who became a meteorologist, or they were like a theater student actor, part-time actor who became like the movie person on a news show.
Right.
Or they were like on the radio and just ended up doing like news and then moved into like public radio and doing news all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just like, you know.
I mean, she seems pretty down to earth as well. Like,
it's not about being down to earth.
Oh.
The people I mentioned are all insane. But I'm just saying, you just think that, like, I don't know, you just think, I guess you don't question where they come from. A Walter Cronkite emerges fully formed like the Uruk-hai, you know, from the fields of news, and then just we put a suit jacket on him and he sits down and starts doing the news.
Right. He's got his note cards.
Yeah. But sometimes they're just like, you know, fun people who want to wear a Harley Quinn costume and get paid a little bit to be in an Adam Sandler movie, and they lose their jobs. I think it's a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. I just remembered something though about my fellow college mate. No, this is not a bad thing. It just connects to Adam Sandler, kind of. No, it's not a bad thing. She had an internship in New York with SNL.
That's too bad.
So
SNL is
well, you know.
Let's talk about it. You brought it up.
I did.
NBC is NBC. What are you doing?
Yeah, they're jingle rocks, but that's been around for forever.
But it's okay because Samantha Bloop really gave it to Trump. She really took it to him.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
NBC gave Donald Trump a primetime town hall opposite of Joe Biden's, which was on.
I don't remember what channel
ABC.
it was on.
I don't know what it was.
I heard Biden's actually got more viewership.
Thanks for jumping to the end.
Yeah, okay.
But the point was they were supposed to have a debate.
Yes.
Which Donald Trump was not going to be able to go to because he's too sick. He's sick, boy.
And he didn't want to do a virtual
he's not.
one.
He's invincible. He's kissing all the women and all the men. I don't like kissing the men, but I'll kiss the women. Yeah. And now he's just, you know, he's playing hooky from school, and then you see him out at the skate park, and it's like, oh, I thought you were sick. Yeah. So he set this up. Now, obviously, from a TV, you know, Ned Beatty perspective, this is like a good idea, right? We're going to duel with ratings.
Sure.
But we're not talking about, this isn't a game. This is the future of our democracy in this country. Yeah. And so NBC, who for a long time played at being, they're like the kid who like hung around in the junior high school movie, who hung around outside your group. You're in the movie now. Somebody, the popular group. It was like, yeah, sure, I'll get your books for you. Yeah. But then like the death metal kids were like, hey, come over here. And then it's like, no, I'm a death metal kid now. That's why I have a safety pin through my nose. Right. And screw you.
Right.
This is a complicated metaphor because it's not like you want to be with the popular kids. They're not like good necessarily. But the point is that NBC and MSNBC tried to be liberal for years. Yeah. And nobody took them seriously. And now they're just like, they're flirting with like radical extreme rightism.
Okay, right.
And so them giving Donald Trump like a thing, and you go, and back to the original point of, well, but the moderator really grilled him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What do you do with Nazis? You don't platform them. You platformed a Nazi. You did that. Right. And you can ask him all the questions in the world. He's been asked all the questions in the world, like why don't you rent to black people for his entire life? Yeah. And he always gets out of it. So the best thing to do is just not put him on TV.
Give him a chance
to but they screwed that up. And then SNL screwed up in putting on their stupid little pantomime and didn't even bother to try to make the point of their parent company, which in the past they've been happy to do, didn't even criticize NBC for doing what they did.
Do you think SNL has gone...
You think that Trump's fiddling while Rome burns? SNL is playing the kazoo while Rome burns.
I don't know who that is.
Who don't you know who that is?
Somebody, I didn't catch the name.
Repeat what I said.
I can't.
SNL is playing the kazoo while Rome burns. That's what I said, right?
While Rome burns.
Yeah, but not Jim Rome, though. The city of Rome.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you...
Because I'm feeling under the weather. I could do... This could all be Cantonese, and I wouldn't know.
No,
but I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Okay, I just didn't hear you clearly.
Okay. All right,
I'm sorry.
I'm sure people are rolling it back to check. But.
Yeah. Do you think SNL has gotten soft? I mean, I don't think that they've been...
Traitorous. I think that's a weird way to pronounce traitorous.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not to the country, but definitely to the principles of making fun of the people in power. Absolutely. And you absolutely knew when, the fly landed on Penn's head, it was like, oh, well, guess we're not going to talk about, taking away rights of gay and lesbian trans people in the country. We're just going to be talking about a fly on an old man's head.
Because that's what's important.
And then SNL's like, wow, here's our opportunity to like put the conversation back on the ridiculous things that he is espousing. Fly on the head.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even, and it was brown bag, bargain basement. They wanted Jeff Goldblum, but Jeff Goldblum was probably like, shit, no.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. No.
Right.
But Jim Carrey's happy to do it.
Yeah.
Why is Jim Carrey doing this? He doesn't need to do this. He has so much money.
Don't know.
And it's NBC. It's TV.
I know.
It's the latest original programming they have on a weekend. Like, they can't be offering him enough money to do this.
No.
So why is he doing it?
I have no earthly idea why he's doing it.
Do you want to talk about nerd stuff?
Yes, please.
I absolutely do on the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mika Hana.
Allow me to go. I'm not feeling good.
No.
But
we're pushing through.
Yeah, but I got some of the Regeneron cocktail. just like...
It just sounds like such a
I hate this cartoon.
Name.
I hate this cartoon.
I know, right?
It has not been good for a long time. But we're here to talk about something that was a cartoon and then became something else.
Yeah.
And to debate whether it's good or not, I guess.
Yeah.
The spooky season is upon us. I don't have too much time left before the most important Halloween of the 21st century. Everything is this is the most important shit I'm going to take for the 21st century.
Right.
But we're talking about spooky stuff before Halloween comes up, and we thought that we would revisit something that we hadn't seen, and that was probably very influential for kids who are now adults, but it was too late. I was already an adult.
Right.
But with that adult perspective, we're going to talk about it. Geez, what is it? Tell us already.
Yeah.
Talking about Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2.
The live action
The live action Scooby-Doo films.
Yeah.
A real spookerbalooza.
Oh my gosh, Randy.
Do you want to pick another team member that you can really nail?
I don't know if I can. Jinkies.
Linda Cardellini's.
Yeah, right.
Velma.
There we go.
So we're talking about that, and we're going to talk about the news, of course, and if we have time, and we do because we're in charge, I thought maybe we'd talk about, I guess we didn't get to the end of Raised by Wolves, but do you want to kind of update people on how we feel about some of our HBO, because this is like slowly becoming an HBO Max podcast. We looked all over for the Scooby-Doo films, thinking that they'd be available on your regular streaming services. Couldn't find them. Guess what? Guess where they were?
HBO Max.
And they weren't only there, they also had the new execrable kind of sequel, I guess, to these films, Scoob, the prequel origin story of how Shaggy met Scooby, which I don't think ever played in theaters, even though it was supposed to this year. If you remember seeing previews for that a million years ago.
Yeah.
And it's got the original cartoon. I didn't go all super deep, so I don't know if they have the Mystery Incorporated or any of the
They've got a lot of Scooby-Doo related stuff,
yeah.
though. I know, like Cal is singing HBO Max's praises.
I started this segment by saying this is kind of becoming an HBO Max podcast.
I think you are a one-man band for HBO Max. Like, you are Bert from Mary Poppins, except the drum says HBO Max on it.
Well, think about it. People go $15 a month. First of all, you absolutely have Disney Plus, whoever you are saying that. So you're already paying that for something, for the Apple Dumpling Gang. And second of all, you probably, depending on when you signed up for Netflix, you may pay, $11, $12 a month for Netflix, right? So for a couple dollars more, you can watch movies you want to watch. I'm not talking about The Kissing Booth. I'm not talking about Blood of Zeus, the terrible cartoon from the guys that wrote Immortals, because apparently their hands are locked into writing about Greek myth.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about Turner Classic Movies Collection. We're talking about films that you can't get anywhere else. We're talking about the Cartoon Network and all your favorite shows. Like, I gotta stop.
I told you! You are an advertisement! Are you getting paid by HBO Max under the table? You can tell me.
Solid.
You can tell me.
Solid. I would have kept going and let it build if I knew that you were going to land something a little bit more solid than that at the end of my rant. But Part of the strength of a good partnership is knowing what your partner can't do. And so that's why I'll just stop.
I would flip you off if the audience could hear it, but they can't. So I'll just say
sound
that.
that's perfect. We need a sound that is the equivalent of flipping somebody, like running away. They run away, and then that sound is I can't really do it with my mouth. Or what else? When somebody slips and falls
on a banana peel.
Boom,
yeah, right.
Or you throw something and
these
are all like Halloween sound effects, right?
Sure.
So if we had something that was like, flipping somebody off, get to work on that. Sound effects people.
Yeah.
What do you think the world of sound effects is like? I feel like it was huge in the mid 20th century because a lot of I had a lot of this is how old I am.
Early 20th.
This is how old I am. I had a lot of it was radio and
radio is huge.
Sure, right, but that translated into home hi-fi kits and I had a bunch. This is how old I am. I had a bunch of 33 and a half RPM records. The Spider-Man and the Man Wolf or something like that. Mm. It was all like theater of the mind and that sort of thing. Halloween records, the Monster Mash.
Sure.
And of course you need sound effects still, but of course there's so many other things to worry about now, including computer graphics integration and things like that. And so I think, and like Ben Burt, like guys like who did I used a squeak of a tennis shoe and to make the sound of the doors opening, or the lightsaber is just me putting a microphone near a TV or something.
Yeah, I think that's really neat because it's like you're creative and you're like, okay, what is the idea of like what is the type of sound that we want to go with this thing? And like something with like lightsaber or even like the X-Wing has become so iconic.
Yeah.
And that we hear that sound and we know exactly what it is. We can picture it without even seeing it.
Yeah.
But somebody came up with that. And I think that's yeah, I know, but I think that they are kind of unsung heroes.
But the day of the celebrity like sound effects guy is over. But also,
was there ever
Ben Burt
besides him though? But I mean, I guess we do have sound awards and stuff like that still.
Right,
we do still recognize.
But it's like, good job, you didn't run into the boom mic when you exited the scene. But I guess my point is that I know I'm an audio producer and a video editor. Mm-hmm. So I don't. Well, anyway, I don't know. I'm not the guy who grew up listening to sound effects album number 5. Oh, that's track 31. But I watch YouTube videos by people who have been who did do that and do it now. And they comment a lot on the reusability of sound effects in a lot of like smaller, like Blumhouse, let's say, productions.
Sure.
So they'll be like, oh, I don't know where these ghosts are, but we got to get out of here. Like, oh, that's door opening number 12.
Interesting.
And it's like, okay.
Wow.
Well,
that's super nerdy. I love it.
I guess to get a new sound effect, you have to like rent a Dolby studio, right? And when you're not going to do that, you'll just license a 70-year-old sound effect.
So
but it seems a little strange that in this age of digital, you would still be doing that. But then again, you just take that album, that record, digitize the sound, and now you can just offer it digitally.
So who gets paid? Does the creator of the sound effect get paid?
Whoever the rights holder is. The creator's long dead, but
the company maybe?
Okay,
got it. I guess that makes sense.
Everything should be Wilhelm screams. Everything. Even that open the door.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, it's so good to see you. Oh, give me a kiss.
Oh, it's you.
Oh my God, that guy's gonna fall off that building. That was weird. I thought he'd make a sound. Let's talk about the news. So, boy, this news. Let's start with the stories that relate to us personally.
Okay.
And I know that you are worried, very worried about theaters.
Movie theaters, yes.
But you shouldn't be worried.
Oh boy,
things are turning around.
Why?
Because Governor Cuomo has announced that cinemas outside of New York can reopen when your phone tells you it's time to record the show.
Oh my God.
On October 23rd.
What? Why is he saying outside of New York?
Because New York is too densely populated. So outside of New York, I'm assuming that's, the
New York
five,
City, outside of the 5 boroughs. Yeah.
Staten Island, Poughkeepsie, Candyland, Coruscant.
Gotham.
And Gotham. So yeah, like if up in Albany, you're fine, but not in the city. But this is still great news for a lot of exhibitors. It's also abrupt news. A lot of exhibitors were ready to, settle in for the long haul, and so they are rushing to hire or rehire, probably hire new employees, train them, clean up, get everything ready to go, and so they're doing that.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see how this goes. I'm still a little anxious about I love movie theaters and I want them to do well. I wouldn't feel comfortable about going to one right now. So it still makes me a little anxious that they're open.
I'm on the fence about that. I think as we talked about on
a couple weeks ago, I don't know.
Or maybe on recent co-videos where I know I can take care of myself. I just don't know.
Yeah.
When that kid spills the giant orange drink on me.
Right.
And when we have to interact, then what's going to happen?
Well, and I can choose to not eat concessions and leave my mask on the entire time, but I don't think that everybody's going to choose to do that.
Right. So it's something that we can handle, but if other people can't handle it, we'll be fine, but they'll be infecting each other and people will die. So maybe they should stay closed.
Right.
AMC is pondering that right now as they have announced that they are going to be out of money by early 2021.
Okay. I don't know. It's going to be...
Which, what kind of company... That's the kind of thing that you keep secret. That's not going to... Investor confidence is not going to be high, but that's basically them going... when you're drowning in the cartoons and the hand goes up one time and it goes up a second time.
Yeah.
This is the second time.
Yeah. It's we need help. I wonder if the government is going to...
Well,
if
Andrew Cuomo is going to help out.
Yeah,
because he cares about the 5 boroughs of New York City.
Oh, my God.
Boston. Sullust.
Metropolis.
Candy Town.
Yeah, right.
So I said that before. Sorry. I meant Plasticville. And New Delhi.
Yeah, right. New Delhi. I like that one. Lots of delis in New Delhi. Anyways, yeah, because the government they buy or help out big banks and huge corporations. Are they going to help movie theaters and restaurants and stuff like that? Are they going to help these other companies?
Well, a restaurant is just you, right?
Yeah.
Hey, please save my restaurant. But Regal Cinemas
is a bigger company.
They have ties and tie pins.
Hey.
So I don't know. We'll see. We are still struggling with every single person, everything, every decision-making process. Everybody's holding their breath until the election, which is come on, guys. We can still do stuff, especially 50 states that are self-governing.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Yeah.
Big government. What happened?
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want your answer, whoever is listening to that question. But let's talk about some of the movies that are dealing with these strange times that we live in. Of course, we know, I think we've talked on the show previously about how Eddie Murphy is doing Coming to the numeral 2 America. The long awaited sequel to Coming to America, which, boy, Paramount, you just can't catch a break. There's got to be a precedent for a company that just goes, let's not make movies anymore. Let's just do TV. That's fine, right? Because their movies, outside of the Transformers movies, are just not getting it done.
Yeah.
Paramount Studios is always on the brink of collapse. And they had bankrolled and were producing this Eddie Murphy movie, which they have now sold to Amazon Studios so it can appear on Amazon streaming services.
Really?
Yeah.
When was the film supposed to come out?
Good question. I don't know. Not going to look into it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Probably this year.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's set to stream this December.
I gotta be honest, I never saw Coming to America.
Oh,
so,
put that on your list.
Yeah? Okay. I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down right now. I don't know if you can hear the sound effect of me writing this down. Okay. I mean, what can we expect in Coming to America 2? Like, what would the story even be about?
Good question.
Like,
I've seen
him
it
becoming more of an American? I don't know.
I don't remember the last part of it, the end.
Yeah.
I think that Azim decides to stay in America because he loves it and he loves the girl that he met. But I don't remember. But it'll be, it's been a long time and there's no way to, I mean, we can Nick Fury him, but there's no way to like make Eddie Murphy younger, right? So it's just going to have to be picking the story up 25 years later.
Like he has some family member or something like that who's coming to America.
Well, him and his
like
kids,
showing
hopefully, and his wife. And James Earl Jones definitely should be in it because he's still with us. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, Eddie Murphy, if you had just stuck around in Hollywood and not did your weird post-Pluto Nash retreat, we wouldn't have to make this and try to explain, where you've been for 30 years.
I
don't know. People's lives are more important than films, and so. But when your life is film, what then? What then? Speaking of other movies that may or may not come out, Wonder Woman, we don't know. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe we got this covered. Don't believe giant freaking robot. They don't know what they're talking about.
No.
But they are talking about a general trend, which is movies leaving theaters. And so I've been saying, here's a great example. Let's say that we've got this covered.
Oh boy.
I've been saying since March that the Star Trek Las Vegas convention, which is the biggest Star Trek convention in the world, will not be happening in 2020.
Yeah.
And so we got closer and closer to mid-July or whenever it usually is. And eventually it was pushed back to December. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
No.
Because I am watching the trends and I see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, you can't trust me. You shouldn't base your your travel booking on what I'm saying. But am I actually making an argument for them?
Yeah, what are you trying to say?
The point is that the writing is on the wall. They will claim this as a win because they had a story 2 weeks ago about how it's absolutely coming to DC Universe streaming or whatever, or HBO, I guess, because DC Universe is now a comic site, which is weird. And I'm saying they'll be right eventually because obviously you're not going to drop a $200 million movie when all the theaters are closed. But they are claiming some source and they don't have a source. They're just reading the trends. But anyway,
I don't know that
the actual story is that they talked to Patty Jenkins, who's been doing a lot of interviews recently, and she's like, I don't know. So it doesn't look good.
I guess I would be surprised if they decided to move it to streaming only. I mean, especially with the trend of like Black Widow, which was originally supposed to come out in May of this year, being pushed back an entire year. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened to Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think that they want to release it streaming.
No, of course
only.
not.
So I don't think that's what they want to do.
They can sell it to Amazon Studio.
Yeah, right. Well, like you said, it'll be on HBO. So,
Indeed.
Yeah.
So check this out. We've got an announcement, a new casting announcement. Star of Babysitter's Club. And forgive me for my white Anglo-Saxon Protestant pronunciation, but Sochitl Gomez, very famous, joins Benedict Cumberbatch in the new Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Marvel has refused to comment, so we don't know anything about what she's going to play, but I'm trying to think of who would be a young 16-year-old girl in Doctor Strange's world, and I don't know.
Man, if you don't know, I really
Well, I don't know a ton about Doctor Strange, but...
Oh, okay.
I do know that Sam Raimi is directing the film because apparently when Scott Derrickson, who, great guy, mediocre filmmaker, when he has creative differences with Marvel and leaves the project, it's like, okay, so did Marvel want it to be good? Or was Marvel going in a... But what was the difference? Because then you bring Sam Raimi on. Sam Raimi, who I think can work for hire, but generally is known as a very idiosyncratic writer-filmmaker who does what he wants. was it creative differences? Because you just handed it to a guy who does whatever he wants. If Edgar Wright, quits and takes his ball home, and you hire Peyton Reed, makes perfect sense. Peyton Reed is like, he's a jobber. He's a skilled jobber.
Yeah.
And he comes in to do his own thing and goes home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
I don't know either. I was a little surprised by that too, that they decided to go with Sam Raimi, but whatever.
Well, it's where there's gonna be a lot of like POV shots of Doctor Strange running from something.
Well, and I had heard before Derrickson left too that it was supposed to be kind of like a darker film, and with his like his
so dark.
Well, but with his experience, with horror films and everything, I was open to see
comedy films.
Yeah, I know. But I was interested to see what that might be. I don't think we're going to get that with Sam Raimi, which maybe that's fine.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We will have to see.
We will have to see. Do you think this character will be related to the Scarlet Witch at all, who I know is also supposed to be in the film, and her and Vision show is coming out on Disney Plus before the end of the year?
I don't think Scarlet Witch hangs out with a lot of teenage girls. She's got 2 teenage sons. Maybe they'll make...
Okay.
Oh, you can't, though.
What?
I was going to say, maybe they'll make one of the sons a daughter, so Vision and Wanda's... But, like, you got to be careful, though, because, like, isn't one of them is gay, right?
Oh, I'm not super
so you
familiar,
don't want to erase
I don't know.
that.
No.
Maybe they're both gay? Are they both gay?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Matter.
Okay.
We're in the land of I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm going to kind of clam up a little. But I will say that Michael B. Jordan is going to produce a Static Shock movie for DC.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
Are you making fun of me?
No, I'm doing the Red Letter Media thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We knew about this from DC Fandom in August. But
that it was happening,
we now know that, that Michael B. Jordan will be a part of it.
I think that's awesome. Do you think he'll actually end up being in the film somehow
as
like a mentor or something like
Isn't
that?
He
like
really
Static
busy?
Shock is, yes.
And
Static Shock is supposed to be kind of a younger kid.
No, he's not going to. No, he won't be Static Shock.
Yeah.
No offense to Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, he's still pretty young.
He's pushing 40. I think it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Isn't he?
I don't know.
He's got to be in his mid-30s at least.
Okay.
I don't know. And... Look, we all love Letitia Wright, but she's not going to be Black Panther, right? So I bet Marvel's that, like, how can we bring... He was only stabbed in the chest. How can we bring Killmonger back, and then Killmonger becomes the new Black Panther? Which is just... I don't know how... They can do whatever they want. That's shitting on the entire legacy of him in the comics, Black Panther, in my opinion. But, nope, they don't care. Michael B. Jordan's hot. Everybody... said that he was the equal of Chadwick Boseman. They're not saying it right now.
No.
Recently. So, the smart thing to do is, like, he's already got his own suit. The smart thing to do is to bring him back, right? You got a multiverse. You got a multiverse
really
of
conflicted
madness.
about that.
We didn't know the madness was going to be how angry the audience was, though. What else is going on?
What if, through the multiverse...
I thought that was a pretty good slide out of there.
What if, through the multiverse of madness or, different versions of time or something like that, they're able to pull through a different version of Killmonger who is not a bad guy, and then he becomes Black Panther?
You made me hate my own idea. But it's probably for the best. Disney's Soul is going directly to streaming, as we know,
yes.
And it has really pissed off, I'm sure, American cinemas, but maybe they're too busy looking for change in the couch cushions to say anything. But European groups and film organizations are very upset by this.
They're not getting it at all.
Yeah.
They're not doing something.
Is there international distribution for Disney Plus for Soul? I guess the theater companies wouldn't care. The point is that theater companies in Europe are really looking forward to a Pixar movie to up their returns.
Yeah.
And now they're not getting it now.
No, they're not. And I mean, if I worked on this film, I might be a little upset too, not just the movie theater owners, but apparently it's not even getting a similar treatment as Mulan, where you have to join at a premium price.
Good. That was theft.
Yeah.
That was theft from your customer.
Okay, all right. But, I almost feel like it's kind of like a diss on the film a little bit. Like maybe they're saying they don't have as much faith in it bringing it in, or maybe
I don't think that's it.
Maybe it's just that they realized that was not a good idea.
It's not going to sell in China. That was the problem with Mulan, is that they needed to wait as long as they could to try to open the Chinese market and get it out there. And then it tanked.
Yeah.
And so maybe they'll stop trying to pander to Chinese audiences and just make movies with Chinese voices instead of like white people trying to make a Chinese movie.
Yeah.
Soapbox off. Here's something that we hear. Here's a chance for you to get on your soapbox. So we've had this Mad Max spinoff in the works for a while.
Yeah.
George Miller wasn't involved, then he was, then he wasn't, now he is.
Now he is.
Although Charlize Theron won't be involved because it's a prequel, because that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. And we've heard now that Anya Taylor-Joy will be taking the title role in the Furiosa spinoff. She'll be joined by Chris Hemsworth because that guy's just everywhere. Yep. Here's the real secret. There's like 6 Hemsworth brothers, but like 3 of them are triplets, right?
I don't
How does this
know
guy
the
do
answer
so
to
much
that.
stuff?
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about this.
I'm going to give you a chance to snatch your wig. Literally.
Well, I mean, but she won't have one for this one. She'll just have a shaved head because she's Furiosa.
I want her to wear the Queen's Gambit wig.
Yeah, I fucking hate that wig.
She's not going to be like a little smaller version of Furiosa, with one arm and like eyes that are very far apart, eyes that are in different area codes.
Wow. Wow.
She'll be.
That's mean.
She'll be she'll be hardened by your experiences. She'll start off as like, oh, I'm just a little apocalypse girl. I don't know. And then like, rah, and like, oh, no, this is how we'll see how she loses her arm. Prequels are so stupid. I hate prequels so much.
I'm not necessarily a fan of prequels either. I do feel kind of bad for Charlize. Like,
oh, she's rolling in dough. She's fine.
I guess she's fine.
She's rolling in scripts she's not going to pick up.
I guess. The thing about Anya Taylor-Joy is I really want to like her, and like I think she was fabulous in the Vivitch. But I'm trying to, and I don't think she's a bad actress. I just don't know that. I really didn't enjoy Emma, and I don't know, like. I haven't seen New Mutants yet. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about her as an actress, and I
think that she's the teen. Well, I think she's
she's young.
She's the early 20s female version of Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah,
she's clearly just going to be in everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because she's quote unquote hot, or because her representation is pushing her, or she'll take any offer. And not worry about the price or whatever. I don't know how it works, but she's clearly in a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with her. I thought that she was fine, and I haven't seen those Split movies or whatever.
No,
but I know that people made a lot of money. People saw her in those. I thought she was fine in Emma. I just thought Emma the movie had a lot. Well, of problems.
Okay, the movie had a lot of problems. Maybe it wasn't really her fault.
You can blame it on her.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what to expect. And I haven't
whoa.
I don't know what to expect, and I don't like Charlize. Maybe she wasn't like a huge like action star, from the get-go, but she has kind of
Atomic Blonde. That came after.
I said from the get-go, but she has
Flux. Gotcha. Done.
I wasn't finished, but she has started to focus on that with her career and has gotten more roles that way. And I don't know, maybe she's just exploring and she's trying to do other things. I think she can definitely be fierce and stuff like that. So I don't know. I wish I was more excited about this because I really like Fury Road like a lot, but I don't know. I'm just kind of meh. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Instead of like, I know that we can't prod him to do anything, and this Fury Road came out 20, 25, 30, whatever years after the last Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
But can't we just push George Miller to just do another? George Miller got to live his whole life before he makes a new Mad Max movie.
Kind of feels like
Isn't
that.
Tom Hardy like, I'm fine.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thought we had a good time making a movie. Whatever.
Yeah, I know.
And now he's out. So by the time George Miller will almost definitely pass away before another Mad Max movie comes out, and we'll definitely have a new Mad Max then. And so why are we doing this prequel? Just do another Mad Max movie.
I know.
If you make it all about girls again, if you want, I don't care.
I don't care either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's a movie. It's about one girl in particular. This doesn't work at all. Do you remember Nicole Kidman's starring role in The Others?
Yes. I don't think I ever
The
saw
Others,
it.
a period gothic horror film coming out in the wake of The Sixth Sense, featuring a woman and her children who move into a spooky house in Victorian England. Actually, I think it's around World War One. So maybe Edwardian England, and things are not what they seem.
Is it worth seeing? No? Okay.
It's not.
Not great.
It's one of those movies that, like, it's in the post Shyamalan like wave. So it's like, just build up mood for 90 minutes and then drop the twist on them, and the twist better be worth it. And the twist is okay, but there's a lot of build up to it. I don't think it's really worth it. A little bit roll from Chris Eccleston in it, though.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Throw it on some afternoon.
Okay. Some rainy
Some spooky afternoon.
Yeah.
But they're going to remake it.
Okay. Do we have a cast yet? Or
No.
Oh.
I guess this is a dumb story. Maybe Kidman will produce. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Not necessarily. If it wasn't that great of a production, maybe the remake will be better.
I suppose.
You know?
You have to have an eye for detail.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the creators of the Monster Hunter movie, which has already disappointed fans by it looking nothing like Monster Hunter. And then this is great. This is some real nerd shit here. But in the poster for the film, we see Mia Jovovich with two swords that are on fire.
Yeah.
Elemental weapons are a big part of the game.
Sure.
And then behind her, a giant monster. I don't know. It's in the movie. I don't know what it's called, but it is a monster from the games, I guess.
Yeah.
And fans started to point out, that's not a fire type monster, so those weapons would be very ineffective. Nice job, nerds.
Excuse me.
Scooby snack for you. So anyway, and it's funny because, you know, she has been doing these video game movies for so long.
Yeah.
She was doing them when nobody cared about getting things movie accurate.
Yeah.
And she's done them through the shift and change in opinion to trying to get them accurate. But she hasn't changed. She hasn't changed one bit.
Well,
and so it's like, hey, we're making a movie. It's called whatever whatever you like. So shut up.
Well, I mean, like, it's not up to her if it's movie accurate or not. You know, she's not sitting there, like, combing through the game and being like, wait, you guys have to do it like this.
She could be. I mean, it's directed by her husband, so I think she has a lot of pull.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, maybe.
But he doesn't care because he's from the old school of it's just an action script and we put, whatever the name is on it.
I just don't understand why decide to do this and
if
to
it'll
get fans
absolutely
in.
disappoint your fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that is the old way. We don't do that. This is not the way. We don't do that anymore.
No, this is not the way.
But they are. What else? One more movie story. It turns out that Christina Hodson, who is what was she? She direct?
I don't know who that is.
Or wrote. Anyway, she's a producing partner of Margot Robbie, but she was involved in some of her films, Harley Quinn, something or other. I'm not going to look it up.
Okay.
They created a, chicks doing it for themselves, movie
production
company,
Sure.
house. And every single one of their initial pitches or movies has sold. They've sold five action pictures.
Okay.
So a victory for women in Hollywood.
That's good.
A loss for people who want action movies that make any sense or are really all that good.
Maybe they'll get better? Question mark.
I don't think you get better by doing. Well, clearly that's not true. But we were talking off mic before about how, I don't know what it was. I was saying that I should be on Screen Junkies, even though I don't really want to be on Screen Junkies. But the idea that, if you could you could be a big nerd, you could get out of college with a communications degree at 22 and start interning at Screen Junkies and then be on camera in, a year or two. And then now you're like the expert, quote unquote, on stuff. Well, I've got almost double that amount of life. And I've just been I've been subsuming myself in so much movie stuff to the point where I probably missed my chance to become like on camera talent for one of these things, because now a new generation has come out and I've had to go back and learn. We're going to watch we're talking about Scooby-Doo today.
Yeah.
I've had to go back and learn the previous generation stuff. But at some point you're just like a graying guy who's talking about nerd stuff and you don't know the new stuff, right? You don't know the territory. And the point of me saying all that was to say that you can practice forever, but you got to get on the field at some point.
Yeah.
But once you get on the field, you're not learning the new tricks. You're not practicing anymore. You're just using the tricks that you have.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is the stunt coordinator behind Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie, who's got a thing, and she's in the 5 boroughs of New York City.
Yeah.
Bloodhaven. Eos. Tangletown.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Chippewa Falls. And Ames, Iowa.
Well, okay.
I think if you just look at Zack Snyder, right? Guy loves movies. He loves them so much. He was given millions of dollars almost the first time out. And he just keeps using the same tricks. He literally uses the same needle drops. He's learned nothing. So why would Margot Robbie or Christina Hodson or anybody that they work with learn anything from just being given everything?
Yeah. That's a great question. I don't know. Maybe they won't.
Well, that was kind of a me thing. I had a bone to pick there, huh? Let's talk about TV.
Okay.
Hillbilly Elegy.
Guys,
streaming on Netflix.
Did not try at all.
Ron Howard's Oscar contender film starring Amy Adams and Glenn Close, and they both look like shit. That's how you know they're going for it. I've spoken before. We're going to go right from one rant of mine to another rant of mine.
Wait, is it
I gotta plan these
streaming
out
on
better.
Netflix?
Yes, Netflix can win Oscars now.
I thought it wasn't out on Netflix yet.
It's not out yet, but it will be before December.
Oh, okay.
And it will definitely clean up because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Check it out. I've talked before about the sort of misery-laden films that have become popular. Probably were before, but definitely in the last 15 to 20 years. August Osage County, Ain't Them Bodies Saints, whatever you want. And I call this genre redneck punk because it is simply about people in the devil all the time. It's about uneducated, dumb Southerners usually, and I'm not doing that.
No.
These filmmakers are doing that. They are playing off these stereotypes to make these films, and the point of them is like, boy, this is kind of dudes. It's kind of weird. And when you think about it, Gone with the Wind was really the first. No, that's not true. Because
they were rich.
Yes, they were the antebellum South.
Yeah.
But they lost all their wealth by the second half of the film. And so we come back, and it's all terrible. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
The point is, I'm sick of it. It seems like an excuse for everybody to act dopey like a goon.
Yep.
You could set, look, most action films are filmed in Atlanta. You can set a movie in the South and people can be good looking and their hair can smell nice and they can have really nice jobs, and it doesn't, but they keep making these like period, like it's like a bad version of Faulkner. They're just doing this over and over again.
Yeah.
And even Faulkner and all his tales of Yokopanapatawata County, which is one of the 5, but no, we're not going to do it again. It has, people of different social status, but it's always just like, you got the crazy religious guy who's whipping himself, and you got the lady who's got 12 children and she's so tired, and you got the. And my point is that if I hadn't come up with redneck punk, hillbilly elegy would have been a great equivalent term.
Yeah.
So you didn't even. That's a pitch. That's not a title.
No, it's not a title.
Redneck.
You didn't even try.
Hillbilly. Synonyms.
Yeah.
Punk type of music, elegy type of music.
Yeah.
So what's the title of this show? I'll come up with a third one. Hayseed Rock. We've got it. Anyway, moving on to the next story.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that shouldn't be on TV, Dexter's coming back with a limited series.
Why?
I know.
Does anybody want this? I mean, just let it go. That's what I...
Well, the funny thing is we're all, because of the pandemic, we're sort of, somebody explained it to me. I read an article. I don't remember what it said, so this is not a very good thing for me to say. But the reason that we're dipping back into a lot of these things is because somehow it's easier to produce these things while a quarantine is on. I'm not sure how that works exactly, but that's why you're
is it
seeing a
gonna
lot of
be
revivals
on
of things.
Zoom
Why you're
or
seeing
something?
no, it'll be on Showtime.
Okay.
But for some reason, it is advantageous to them in these times now more than ever to redo these things. And so they talked to the show, Clyde Phillips, the showrunner, and he was talking about how like, yeah, we wanted another chance at that ending, and this would be a good opportunity. It's like, dude, you had your chance. There is no second chances.
No.
Why do Francis Ford Coppola is going to redo The Godfather 3? It's like, you did The Godfather already. It's one thing to redo The Cotton Club because the studio made him cut out all the black people dancing.
Uh-huh.
So that's fine.
Uh-huh.
But like, you did Godfather 3 already. It happened.
Yeah.
Do you have any bones to pick? I've got all the bones are mine. I got a plate full of bones.
I'm sick and tired of seeing.
Want me to cue you up?
I don't know.
Apparently,
Do I?
Tatiana Maslany's not playing She-Hulk. Go.
What?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me? Why?
So this is amazing because she is Canadian.
What?
She's Canadian.
Yes.
And I don't know if she lives in Sudbury, but this little small town rag called the Sudbury Star was interviewing her about, I don't know if it was a connection with something else she's doing. Probably was. Maybe I don't know what she's doing. But it's like this little, the City Pages, our local community paper, has a higher circulation than the Sudbury Star. And so the Sudbury Star broke this gigantic story wide open when they asked her about, her accomplishments and all this. And then she's like, and what about She-Hulk? That's really great. I can't wait to see you in that. Total like Fox Kids, like news.
Yeah.
It was Fox Kids, right? What do we used to make fun of?
I can't
remember
Kids
what
is
it
fine. Yeah.
Anyway, Nickelodeon Kids?
Maybe
Nick Kids. It was Nick Kids.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's an old bit.
Yeah.
Total Nick Kids question from just probably a young, cubby reporter. And she's like, yeah, I'm not actually doing that. I don't know who came out with that story or how these things build, but it's not a thing.
What?
So I don't know if there was an offer and it was too low. And so the move is you go, I don't know her or what, but apparently it's not happening.
I am so disappointed.
Allison Brie fans, get your hashtags ready.
I'm so bummed. You just deflated me.
Yeah, but you're supposed to rant, though.
I don't feel like ranting about this. I was going to rant about something else.
Content. Okay.
But
Then do your rant.
I'm just so bummed. I don't want this to be true.
We killed her other rant, too. Great. Well, we'll see. I think that there are a lot of people who are happy or were happy about her doing it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe popular opinion will sway Marvel to get this done. Here's something else. We're talking about Sarah Michelle Gellar in a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you know that they are doing a I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series
I heard
on
about
Amazon.
that. Yeah. Is she going to be a part of that at all?
I don't know. And I didn't know was that it was based on a 1973 novel. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
But it will be written by Sarah Goodman, who was one of the writers on the little watched but highly praised Preacher series.
Okay.
And they'll be doing Amazon Studios show, YA focused kind of thing. Now, is it YA?
Huh.
Would you call it YA?
I don't know. It's about teens.
It's about the Gordon's fisherman finally having enough of these kids. He's going to take them out.
Well, I don't know if you would call it YA. I mean, I haven't read the book. I don't know if it was geared towards teens. It's about teens. So,
actually, the 70s was like the kind of birth of YA, wasn't it? I mean, The Hobbit, whatever. But like that's when like, a tree grows in Brooklyn and the red fern grows and Go Ask Alice and all these books that were aimed at like adolescents were coming out.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if that's right or not.
Okay. It sounded good.
Hey, they don't talk about books on Screen Junkies. I can't wait to move to Screen Junkies and leave this crap behind.
Wow.
Good luck replacing me.
It'll just be Mika doing the news by herself. It'll be very sad, and not nearly as entertaining.
Don't sell yourself short. Play a lot of sound effects. You'll be okay.
Whackity schmackity doo.
Anyway, I think this is a terrible idea. How are you gonna? The whole point of this is there are 4 kids who killed the Gordon's fisherman one summer, and the next summer they did a sequel to this, didn't they?
I
there was a
actually never
sequel.
saw the original movie.
You're not missing anything.
Yeah, okay.
And so there's 4 teens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all going to get killed one by one until we get down to Jennifer Love Hewitt. Mm-hmm. And, or maybe her boyfriend survives. I can't remember. But I know that Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe both get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you do? Like, do you kill somebody at the end of every episode? Like, how do you stretch that out over 6 to 8 episodes?
That's what I want to know. And I think when we were talking about this off air, you were saying, like, how do you make the drama last? And, like, you can't kill off, like, major characters all the time.
No, nobody's going to sign up for a TV show so they can get killed off in the first or second episode.
No. Who would do that? That's stupid.
Well, Barb would do that, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Got him! What else is happening? This is the last. Well, I want to say real fast. Netflix ended its free trials in the U.S. because they realized that there was not a soul on the planet that didn't have a Netflix account. So probably a good move. Here's a strange move. Disney is reorganizing their output to focus on streaming and direct-to-consumer services.
What does that even mean? Like, we're going to see more stuff on Disney Plus? What does that mean? I don't understand what that means.
I think that's what it means.
Okay.
Yes. I don't think they're going to do... Well, they might do less movies. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But I think that it seems like because of their reaction to COVID is to focus on acquiring more content to deliver through streaming services and also doing smaller scale productions to turn around faster and get to streaming services.
Interesting.
It's like, okay, great. Can we get any of these Marvel shows
Yeah,
that you
right.
promised years ago?
Right, I know. I think it's really hard right now with COVID. I know that there are a lot of productions. Well, maybe not a lot. I know there are some productions that have gone back to work, but I think it's very hard to do it.
Not reported on the news. All of the stories I get about such and such a show stops because somebody tests positive.
Yeah. Exactly.
It seems like a bad model.
Yes.
Let's all go back to work.
Yeah.
300 people. One person goes at chew. We're all shut down.
Pretty much. Like, I mean, we talked about a couple weeks ago how the new Batman movie had to stop production because supposedly...
Back in production.
It's back in production now, but supposedly Robert Pattinson tested positive for COVID, so can't really move forward when your star is sick with COVID. So, and yeah. Anyways, I just
remember that was it Vanity Fair? Remember that article where they were interviewing him and he was just locked in like a rented penthouse in Manhattan?
No,
because he was on hold for the Batman probably, but it was also like in late spring, early summer, like the height of COVID. So the Vanity Fair reporter, I'm assuming it's Vanity Fair, had to do it all by Skype. But they don't just do, it's not like wow, it's great. Thanks for joining us. And like their interviews are the course of days. They send the reporter out and they spend like the weekend with them, but they couldn't do that. Right. So instead they were like on Skype for like 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And Pattinson was just like going nuts, like inside the apartment. He came up with this thing where he was like, I want to do like a food business. I'm going to start a pasta snack business where you cook pasta, and it's like a little pasta cone and you could fill it with whatever toppings you want.
Sure.
And says, let me show you, I'm going to cook it. And then he put it like in tinfoil and then he put the tinfoil in the microwave. And of course the microwave exploded.
My God, no!
It's like, all right, buddy.
No, Robert Pat, don't put tinfoil
The second
in the
you
microwave.
walk, you're a safe guy. Very conscientious. I'm sure the second you walk out of this apartment, you won't immediately get COVID.
Okay, just says he doesn't know that you can't put tinfoil on the microwave doesn't mean that he's like gonna immediately get COVID.
I don't know his background, and I know that he got a fairly early start. He was, of course, Cedric Diggory in the Harry Potter films.
Yes.
But is he one of these people who, like Sarah Michelle Gellar, who we're going to talk about, and spoiler alert, I respect her quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think she's done a lot of good work, but she has been a actress since she was a very small tyke.
Yeah.
And so you have to imagine, it's kind of a stereotype, but it's also true that these people can probably barely feed themselves. Do you know what I mean? They've been brought meals on set for 16 to 20-hour days their entire life.
Yeah.
And so when they aren't working, can they function? It's not, it sounds, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody. It's just a reality. And it seems like Robert Pattinson might be that kind of person.
Yeah, I suppose. Very like work oriented and that maybe not necessarily.
He's down to earth guy. Super down to earth though.
Yeah.
Oh man. Have you heard? The same person cuts his hair. His brother.
Okay.
His brother
All
cuts
right.
his hair.
All right. I am a fan of Robert Pat, but I guess I could see that being true. You know what I mean? I mean, when you spend like most of your waking hours working,
and plus,
like you start at such a young age,
it's not like he tongue kissed, like a random person on the street. Like he's got 5 people to do the hair. He's got 3 people to put the mascara on for the bat mask or whatever. Yeah. Then he's got all the stuntmen and all the extras, and I don't know, maybe Jeffrey Wright was out too late last night. We don't know where it came from.
No, we don't.
And we never will, but seems unsafe.
Yep.
Seems spooky.
It does seem spooky.
The Batman is where's the Halloween Batman movie? Well, the Long Halloween.
The Long Halloween. But they never made a movie of it, did
No,
they?
but apparently this movie will have a lot of those elements. And it's that thing where you just chop up, like the Batman, not Batman, the Daredevil show, because they had to build tension. They kill off Ben Urich, and it's like, you killed Ben Urich. So you gave away Born Again. You gave away like all the things that he could have been a part of. Oh, no, it's fine. Deborah Wall's going to be a Lois Lane reporter. It's like, first of all, I don't really want that. But second of all, you just...
I was so mad they killed Ben Urich. I was so mad.
You took... The puzzle was finished, then you took the puzzle and you went... You messed all the pieces up, and then you just picked random pieces and you put it in your show.
Yeah.
And when you mess a puzzle up, it sounds like this. Ah! I'm just realizing something now.
Yeah.
The 2000s sucked. They sucked really bad, didn't they?
Yeah.
I was
not great.
Recovering memories as I was watching these
traumatic
movies.
Memories?
Yes, these movies are so of their time. And I'm not just referring to the Sugar Ray cameo in this film. They're just very much of their time. And you can only do so much when you are, firmly latched onto the teat of corporate sponsorship and like Sugar Ray cameos. You can only be so subversive.
Yeah.
And I think somehow, I don't know, I don't like it as much as others, but somehow Josie and the Pussycats managed to skate that line fairly well. Another film starring Seth Green.
I love Josie and the Pussycats. It has a very soft
But they
spot
did
in
it
my
by
heart
literally making the point of the film, the plot, about trying to escape corporate sponsorship.
Yeah, that's true. And that film actually came out before these films did.
Yeah.
So
Slightly before.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the possibly ill-advised Scooby-Doo films.
Yes.
Of which there were 2.
Yeah.
Having watched them, and another spoiler, not hating them, I don't know why there wasn't a ton of these. Except for the fact that, at some point, the Freddie Prinze Jr. Sharon Geller tab is going to start running up. But I mean, they literally, they met on I Know What You Did Last Summer. But they were like a couple through this. This could have been like their little project that they do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's do another Scooby movie. Yeah.
The first one made almost $300 million off of an $84 million budget.
That's insane.
Not sure how we got up to that. And the second one was not quite as successful, but made about half that. Okay. Still a lot of money, but that's where the studio goes, well, maybe not.
Maybe not a third one. Yeah. So I will say, I grew up watching Scooby-Doo. I am a Scooby-Doo fan, but like not like necessarily like a hardcore fan. Like not like I wake and sleep and eat Scooby-Doo or anything. But I think that I'm going to say a couple things overall about these films. I think that
let's just give it all up.
Well,
right away.
not all up, but I think that they were well cast, and I think that the leads did a really good job of taking where applicable, taking the idiosyncrasies or way of talking from the cartoons and applying it to their characters. I think they did a good job of that.
They did it so well that when they did the Monsters Unleashed show in 2010, Matthew Lillard and I think Linda Cardellini came along for the ride.
That's cool. That's really cool. I think that they did a very good job. And then also whoever was the voice actor behind Scooby-Doo, I don't know if it's the same person.
Frank Welker.
Frank Welker. Okay.
Yep.
Same from the original, or?
No. I think didn't Casey Kasem do
Did he?
Scooby-Doo as well as Shaggy?
Maybe he did.
Maybe
not.
But he's been voiced by probably 100 people now. At this point.
Well,
but
they did a good job.
Famous voice actor and animal voice actor. They always call Frank Welker when they need like I'm a cat that can talk or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, he was in this. He also for like a hot minute did Tasmanian Devil in the Looney Tunes, which I think is why they had that cameo of Tasmanian Devil in the second one.
Okay, interesting.
Let's talk. These movies are directed by Raja Gosnell. Nothing. There's nothing that you would really know that he's done. I mean, you know these movies, but nothing that you care about. He did the third Home Alone movie, Never Been Kissed, Big Mama's House, and then the Smurfs 2. So he's definitely working, succeeding, getting it done, but it's all this like corporate kiddie stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would put Never Been Kissed in there, but yeah.
I wouldn't say these are poorly directed, but there's nothing really particularly special about them.
No.
And of course, they are both written by James Gunn.
Yeah, and some other guy too, right?
James Gunn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, which is one reason why we decided to check this out, besides it being spooky Halloween. No,
not me.
Oh, okay. I thought that was
if you want to talk about James Gunn and his development as a writer, sure.
Okay.
I don't really care.
Oh, all right. I thought, never mind. Anyways.
The first thing I want to say, and they were both filmed in Australia, at least the first one was.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, the first one it takes place on an island somewhere that you get kind of the idea that it's kind of tropical. So I mean,
yeah, and there's a scene where it's like, oh, this is Death Valley, but it's clearly like the outback when they ditch Scrappy Doo.
Yeah.
Let's address the big fake dog in the room. This was a rough time for CGI. I think used well and sparingly, it really works. This is actually kind of predates, or maybe races it to the multiplex, Gollum in Lord of the Rings. Fully CGI characters were not really a thing other than Casper at this point.
Sure, yeah.
And so I don't think that, at least in the first film, Scooby-Doo doesn't work at all. It looks terrible.
Oh, okay. It didn't really bother me that much.
And I think they improved it a little bit for the second one. But I'll give Matthew Lillard some props here. He makes Scooby work. When you think about it.
Yeah, he works opposite Scooby all the time. Yeah.
And so all of his scenes are with a fake dog.
Yeah.
And he totally makes it work and makes him believable. But like the sort of flat, evenly lit Scooby-Doo graphic,
suppose.
And they're in caves and tunnels and old castles and stuff
that's
like
a
that.
good point.
It just doesn't
it's not like
really...
the lighting or shading changes that
And
much.
there's a weird thing when everybody loses their souls. Let me finish. That wasn't the end. In the first one where Shaggy has to get all their souls back and their souls are these little heads. But instead of just doing an optical effect where you just film Freddie Prinze Jr. going, get me out of here, and then you just, make it slightly transparent, they decided to do like a weird, fully CGI PS3 tech demo level of graphics.
Very
so maybe that's what happens when maybe all of our souls are just like, 64-bit or 128-bit like heads. But and I think they did that because eventually Scooby-Doo has a soul and he's already a computer. So maybe they wanted to like make it consistent visually.
Right.
But I felt like that didn't work.
Yeah, not so much.
What happens in the first movie?
Yeah. So, do you want me to do a breakdown of the first?
I want you to do it fast.
Oh, okay. So the very beginning of the film,
no, that's not it.
Mystery Inc. breaks up.
I'll do the first one, and then you listen to mine, and you do the second one.
Okay.
Okay. Mystery Incorporated is our heroes, the mystery team. They're solving crimes, right? And they solve a crime, but their egos get the best of them. They all break up. 2 years later, they're all invited to Spooky Island, which is absolutely not a trap.
Right.
They go to Spooky Island. Turns out that Rowan Atkinson is a millionaire who's built Spooky Island as a theme park.
Mm-hmm.
It's right up their alley. But he's got a problem. Kids come in, wild teenagers with that like puka shell necklaces and that thing where it's like a bunch of little spikes. It's like the punk thing, reimagined for the white Californian teenager. Mm-hmm. And he tells them kids come in wild and they come out, mild. Yeah, and I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Hijinks ensue. It turns out that. Should we spoil? Well, everybody knows what happens. Hijinks ensue. It turns out that Scrappy Doo, who was kicked out of the team years ago for being Scrappy Doo, has orchestrated this whole thing where he's taken over this Rowan Atkinson's life. Rowan Atkinson is locked in a chamber.
Yeah.
Okay, don't copy me because I'm finding out there's a lot of plot in this movie. And he has a plan to steal teenagers' souls. That's why they're becoming too sedate and mild and control them. Also, with this power, he is able to tap into the spirit world and like make demons and creatures manifest, which are possessing these kids. Mm-hmm. And he's going to somehow, we don't know, rule the world in combination with the zombie kids and also his new gigantic monstrous body, which is powered by the souls of these teenagers. Yeah. It's real puppy power.
Yeah.
Do you hate Scrappy Doo?
I don't know that hate is the right word. I don't hate him. I think a lot of people find him annoying. I guess myself kind of included. Like for whatever reason, I don't know exactly in the timeline of Scooby-Doo where they invented this character.
80s.
Okay.
But I grew up watching the reruns of Scooby-Doo, which was on in the 70s, a little before my time, but I grew up watching them in rotation, in syndication. And then, this whole wave of like, let's milk this thing. Let's milk this dog. Happened in the 80s, and you had the Scooby-Doo, Scrappy-Doo Hour, Puppy Power, and the Adventures of Young Puppy Scooby-Doo, Scooby Puppy, and all this stuff. And so they started to like, milk that, and they invented Scrappy-Doo. Yeah. So Scrappy-Doo is really like, I guess it's sort of like my era of Scooby-Doo, although I did watch the old ones.
Yeah, I watched the old ones too.
I have a problem with him necessarily, but geez, this movie goes hard on Scrappy-Doo.
I think they're going off of the assumption that some people find him annoying.
Well, on our Twitter poll that I put up on our Twitter page, I put, apropos of nothing, Scrappy-Doo, yes or no? And yes won. So assuming that people could interpret that yes meant thumbs up for Scrappy-Doo. Yeah, people are down with Scrappy-Doo.
I don't know, man.
So why do people like this movie that throws Scrappy under the bus?
I don't know. Good question. And it's not like the gang is like, oh, he's just misunderstood at the end either. Like he gets taken away in a doggy kennel with the other bad guys, and we don't know what happens to him.
Well, they do. Look, it's one thing if Buddy wants to get in Mr. Impossible's way or Incredible's way, and he's like, look, Buddy, I'm trying to save the world here. You need to go away. And then he grows up to be Jason Lee. Right. In addition to having a Scientology retreat on his hollowed out volcano island, he also wants to give superpowers to everybody. Wait a minute. Who was the good guy in that movie?
Yeah, I know, right?
They literally throw Scrappy-Doo out of their van in the middle of it. It's kind of like the gang acts. We've updated their personalities because, of course, they are all idiosyncratic, but they're all like good. They're all beneficial. A word meaning good in the original cartoon.
Yeah.
In this, they're all like vain and like and self-centered.
Yeah.
And also they strand Scrappy-Doo in the middle of Death Valley,
and they're all okay with that.
Yeah, to die.
Essentially, yeah.
Do people act differently do cartoons act differently in movies? It's like how the Teen Titans gang run over, they do a hit and run with the singing tiger, and they're like,
I know.
Let's get out of here. His dad's a cop.
I know. It's like, wow. Wow, guys. I don't know. I don't think that they really act differently. They just, I think they had a choice. They made a choice. I don't know. I guess I like some of the changes they made with the characters. Like, Velma, like, she's smart and she's totally comfortable with being the quote unquote smart one, but she wants to feel like she's more a part of the team. And I think that's a good addition. I also like, especially in the first film, that Daphne is upset that she's often the damsel in distress. And so during their 2-year break, she goes and she gets a black belt.
She goes and she stars on a WB series where she does karate all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're going to cast Sarah Michelle Gellar, who, you know...
Is she... I
don't know.
I've seen like 2 episodes of Buffy. Is she like a convincing kung fu person?
I don't know. I haven't really watched Buffy
anyway,
either.
They get a lot of mileage out of that.
They do.
This is right up the alley, though, of the... Because this is, you know, what was happening in the aughts. We were taking properties like Josie and the Pussycats, Scooby-Doo, cartoons, and doing the early aughts send-up movie.
Yeah.
So you take the Brady Bunch, and the gag is that it's modern times. It's the late 90s, but for some reason they're stuck in the mid 70s.
Oh, 70s, yeah.
And they don't quite do that with this, except for the fact that they all dress
in
like
the
they're from the 70s
clothes.
still.
Yeah.
But they keep kind of trying to do it. Like there's references where they like, you know, they were at Don Knotts' Christmas party or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And then all the other kids are like, woo, what's up, my dog Slice?
Yeah, right.
And they're kind of not quite getting that, you know, but people still love them anyway.
Yeah.
To go full on that, it would be, we'd start off and like Fred's got a gut and they're all like, you know, oh boy, the Mystery Incorporated team, I remember them. And they have to like, we got to jazz this up. We got to funkify this. But they're sort of already cruising that. People like their weird retro style for some reason. It's never really explained.
No, it isn't. I do like how they all kind of wear their outfits from the cartoon, but then they also do like different versions of that. Like
whore them up later.
Well, I wasn't. That's not what I like.
They all wear their costumes, but and this is I don't know if this is James Gunn's influence. I would understand if it was, but. A lot of like panty and near panty shots in this.
Well,
you've got 2 girls who are wearing early 70s inspired fashion, which is to say short skirts, but a lot of them being flying through the air and being thrown around and like a lot of like close calls. And you didn't have to do that.
No.
And then in the second movie, they all put on pants, so it's fine.
Yeah, I know.
But there is one good gag in the beginning where Velma gets caught in like a rope trap, and she gets hung upside down, and her skirt is just like vertically still on her legs.
I liked that.
Like, that
I noticed that, and I appreciated that.
And then Pam Anderson shows up because this thing came out in 2002.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what? Why is Pam Anderson here? Why does she own a toy factory?
What'd you think about the weed jokes? Necessary?
I didn't think they were necessary, but maybe fans of the show think that they are because
I think
Scooby
that
and
passed
Shaggy,
for clever in 2002. I think.
Yeah, well, because Scooby and Shaggy, obviously, that's what the characters were kind of based off of.
What do you think about tan Isla Fisher? Everybody's so tan in this.
I know.
Everybody, Scooby, Shaggy, they're all, Scooby's a shade darker. Everybody is just smeared with fake tan in this because 2000s, I guess?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I did enjoy how when they're riding the bikes around and like she gets hit in the head and like Scooby sees that she's like actually a monster.
Yeah, that was weird. But she's just so the thing is that they possess people and they put monsters in their bodies, possessing them, right? But for some reason she's just a monster with a rubber mask on because Isla Fisher shows up later and she's just normal Isla Fisher. No, that's right. She breathes smoke. There's 2 Isla Fishers, right? There's one that has a rubber mask on and there's one that's possessed. Or does your body become a suit for...
Your body becomes a suit for the monster...
This is very strange. I don't like
things.
This.
And then when your human soul goes back into it, the monster things come out of it and they can die because of sunlight.
Yeah, I got all that. But I didn't know why her face was a weird mask that could be knocked off the monster's head.
It's just the way they
Where's
decided
her skull?
to do that right then.
Where's her skull?
I don't know.
It's a big swing in this movie for them to say that ghosts are real. The whole point of Scooby-Doo is that it's some guy on a roller skates and a wire or something like that.
And a mask. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for your meddling kids.
So if I had to characterize this film with its early 2000s like teen exploitation and it's just like general cultural mile marker, it's ghosts are real. There's a swing cover of Magic Dance by David Bowie and F Scrappy Doo.
Pretty much. I think that's it in a nutshell.
Do you think that kids got too weird to exploit?
What?
Teen culture has been exploited by corporate entities since teens were invented.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like we can do that much anymore. Sure, you got the Travis Scott McDonald's meal, but I don't feel like you have these weird cash-ins where it's like, we'll take an old thing, but the kids, they don't know what the old thing is. They might have seen a Scooby-Doo rerun on Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. And then we'll like put a bunch of like kids with, patchy goatees in there. Right. And they'll be going like, oh, brah, this is cool. Mm-hmm. Tubular, dude. Yeah. Look, it's Sugar Ray playing for 14 people, which is a situation Sugar Ray's comfortable with. I don't feel like we have that so much anymore.
Really?
I mean, like, does do the Imagine Dragons show up in the kissing booth?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Imagine Dragons besides
but you
the
know
fact
what I'm
that they
talking
exist.
about, though, right? There's a reason that like Carson Daly shows up as himself in Josie and the Pussycats is because they're like doing it. They're, hey kids, you remember this guy from MTV? Look at this.
Right.
I think kids just got too weird to exploit. When I think about the teenagers or 20-somethings that I know, the things that they like are how do you turn Tumblr /fic into a reference in a film? How do you do it?
I don't know.
This could have been a really cool conversation if you'd committed to it.
I guess I still don't understand what you mean by exploiting kids. I don't understand.
Why is Sugar Ray in this film?
Because people recognize them.
Right. Why would I can't think of any real examples. Well, why did Elvis Presley do clam bake? We're gonna have a clam bake. Because teens loved Elvis Presley. Yeah. And they would go see a film that he's in.
Yeah. Right.
Why is Adele not in the Vivitch?
Why would she be in the
Why would Sugar Ray be in this movie?
I don't know.
It's an attempt to summarize teen culture. What's the new trend? Oh, that punk white kid from Southern California haircut, Mm-hmm. Let's put Sum 41 in this. Yeah. Let's Where's 311 at? Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing that now.
Okay, I haven't really noticed.
And I think the reason is like, how do you put Panic at the Disco in something, Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't know.
You don't want to talk about it. It's too bad because this is this is what I wanted to talk about. This is why I wanted to watch these films. That's okay. Scooby-Doo dies in this film and nobody says anything about the dog corpse that they're just carting around.
Well, he gets back like with less than 5 minutes later.
Yeah. All those sequences were garbage. None of them made any sense. I couldn't tell what was going on at the time. And if you have an idea of like, there's a plan, but like, okay, let's just talk about the second movie because I think the second movie is a lot better than the first one. And I think it should have been the first one.
Okay.
One last thing, Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne gets her own fight scene at the end. For some reason, we've got some wrestler who I don't recognize who's like the big bad guy. Yeah. And they start having a fight. And it's just, they're in like a industrial setting, it's a warehouse or something like that. Mm-hmm. But like it slowly becomes or starts to resemble a wrestling ring.
Yes,
like there's
I did enjoy that.
There's a safety bar that's like a metal bar with another one below it.
Yeah,
but that turns into like ropes.
Yeah,
and I think they should have gone farther. Like there should have been folding chairs up there for some reason.
Why the heck not?
Yeah, they should have really. But what they did with it, I did like. She didn't do the Gap commercial Matrix thing like I expected that she was going to do.
I did kind of expect that.
But they probably couldn't afford it.
Do you have to
spend
pay?
$80 million on this movie.
Do you have to pay for that move if you want to do it?
You have to get 100 cameras.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. They didn't want to pay for that many cameras.
You need a green screen studio and set and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Got it. So I guess it's my job to summarize what this is. So at the beginning of this film, we are at a museum exhibit in Coolsville, which I guess is where the team is from. And
as of 1988, that's where they're from.
Okay.
I did a little research.
Okay. And the exhibit consists of costumes of a bunch of bad guys that they've unmasked throughout the years. One of them comes to life and they have like this whole new mystery that they have to unravel. There's this new bad guy, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. The Vulture, which was the costume that came to life, the guy supposedly died, and his cellmate was released rather recently. So they go to his house and they're trying to figure it out. And there's like this old coal mine that's involved, and there's chemicals and stuff like that apparently animate the suits and make them look like they're real ghosts and everything. And there's a reporter played by Alicia Silverstone who's bad-mouthing them. They don't really like that, and making them look bad with the press.
This is all the first scene.
Yeah, anyways.
I'm taking over. So anyway, Jesus Christ, come on. The gang is this focuses on the gang again. They have opened a museum featuring classic foes that were actually on the cartoon, but somebody is out to turn their foes against them. Their foes come to life. It's another situation where it's like, I guess ghosts and monsters are actually real, and the team has a crisis of conscience where they have to all reassert their places on the team, and Tim Blake Nelson and Peter Boyle are in it for some reason. Mm-hmm. The end. There is no real plot. The other one has too much plot. This one barely has any, and I think it's better. And I want to correct myself. Neil Fanning is the voice of Scooby-Doo. Frank Welker does random animal noises, which, again, that's what he does.
Yeah, right.
I don't know Neil Fanning. He's an Australian actor. They're shooting in Australia. Apparently, it's not that tough to do Scooby-Doo.
Apparently.
I'm a cultural icon.
Yeah, right.
I think this movie should have been the first movie, because you start the first movie. They're famous. I have no idea why they're famous.
I think we're taking like the cartoons and saying that that's all factual, and we know
I guess,
all of that.
but it doesn't do anything for me, because they also go to an island where they spend time with ostensibly their fans, and nobody knows who they are.
Yeah, right.
You know, and Scooby or Shaggy meets Mary Jane, and she doesn't know that he's Shaggy. His stardom has nothing to do with it.
No, you're right.
Whereas in this film, they also start off being stars. There's a museum, but it attacks their legacy. Alicia Silverstone, as the investigative reporter, is trying to, scoop them, and is trying to yellow sheet journalism them, and prove that they're not that great. Mm-hmm. And so they all have personal crises of conscience. They all sort of reaffirm their roles, and what they do is important. Shaggy and Scooby want to be detectives, but they realize that's not what we do. We're the X factor here. We come in and mess things up and shake it up. And so they all regain their confidence. Their reputation is sort of restored, and people are now doubly excited about them. Second movie, they're very famous, they break up, and it's the behind the music thing. I'd have no idea why these two movies are in the sequence that they're in.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think what you're saying makes sense.
CGI is a little better in this one.
Yes.
And like I said, Tim Blake Nelson, well, of course we had Rowan Atkinson in the one before this. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to get a feel, this is like Spy Kids, isn't it?
Oh, maybe a little bit.
Whereas Spy Kids is shot almost completely on a total green screen. The later ones are.
Yeah.
It's take this property, Spy Kids is original, but it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of for kids, but also for adults. You get people who are willing to slum it a little bit, like Tim Blake Nelson or Peter Boyle, or Rowan Atkinson, and you put them in situations. You have crazy CGI stuff, and it's like the same kind of that was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that it's a similar tone for sure. We should mention too that Seth Green is in this as well.
Which I can't believe it took him this long to be in. He should have been in the first one too. This should have been the first movie.
Yeah,
I can't be the first person to come up with this.
Probably not.
There's more of this is more of a classic Scooby-Doo tale, because even though it's commenting on Scooby-Doo tales, we still have. We're literally doing the old creatures. We're doing a guy that's like, but it was actually this guy. And then we tweak it a little, but also that guy is not that guy. He's this guy.
Right. It's double masked.
It's sending up the formula of the original one.
Yeah.
In the second one, you go crazy and you go to a tropical island.
Right. And in this one,
but it wouldn't have been Sugar Ray. It would have been 311. Sorry.
Right. And in this one, we also go back to their original hideout, which apparently were at in high school, and we get a flashback of them too. So I mean, it's
you nailed that one. That literally just sets up them throwing the frisbee-like device at the end.
Yes, that's entirely what it was about.
Totally necessary, but that's okay.
But here's my thing: like when they're playing frisbee as kids, they're bad.
They're terrible at it.
And when they're throwing the device around, they're great.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, I think somebody drops it at one point, but
does James Gunn not know what a pun is?
I don't know.
Because I like the idea. Again, I think this would be great for the first movie, but they go to a bar called the Faux Ghost.
Yeah.
Which is not.
It's not anything.
That's not a thing. No. I guess faux kind of sounds like ghost.
Like it's a fake ghost. So, I mean, I guess that's where all the bad guys
Except we know ghosts are real.
Right.
First movie.
Yeah.
Should have been the second movie.
I know.
But anyway, and then in the first film, there's a bar on the island called. Plus, there's like a weird voodoo guy on the island,
which we never
pays off in any real way.
He's in like 2 little scenes.
He's only a red herring.
Yes,
it doesn't pay off. Sorry,
but he's not even a good red herring because I'm like, well, this isn't the guy. Like right from the beginning, I'm like, he's not your bad guy.
First movie, there's a bar called Dead Mike's.
Mm-hmm.
Or Dead Mike.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
The only thing I can come up with was there's a character in the Chris Rock movie CB4 whose rap name is Dead Mike.
I think that's a deep cut, and I don't know that that's what they're referring
James Gunn,
to.
huge CB4 fan.
I don't know.
He loves Sweat From My Balls. That's his favorite track.
I think you actually, when we were watching it, came up with a better name.
I spent the second half of the movie trying to figure out what the pun was.
There was no pun.
No.
No pun.
I thought that maybe he would be a zombie and then he'd be Undead Mike.
Well, that would have made more sense. That would have been a more clever name.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah. Or Shrunken Head Mikes or something like that. I don't know.
I don't even know if that's racist. But yeah. This is a little less. I mean, there's more KFC. There's less. Cool 2000s references that we're supposed to pick up on, but they do out of nowhere go ready to rumble. Oh my god!
Yeah,
this thing is so of its time.
It is. Well, and I think Fred says something like it is going to be something like a .com or something like that at one point, and I was like, whoa, that's an old reference.
And then
that's not something we say
cool musical
anymore.
Number at the end with Ruben stuttered.
Oh, Ruben. It just makes me sad.
I mean, shouldn't it have been Soul Patrol guy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the Soul Patrol.
Yeah, right.
The Ghoul Patrol.
Yeah, right.
And you don't know how they're trying to market these things to kids. You just can't understand.
No, well.
American Idol stars. Why does From Justin to Kelly exist?
Yeah, I know.
Interesting. Maybe this is why it works, because people just don't understand. They've already been Spooky Island zombified. I'm the only one. And you're next.
I don't know. I guess I'm trying.
That's when at the end of the movie he points and he goes, ah.
Got it.
That's the sound effect.
Yes. I'm just trying to think of celebrities being in movies.
Let's get ready to
Yeah. I don't know that that's ever really been a pull for me. If I had known, Sugar Ray's in this movie, I wouldn't have really stopped to see this movie.
I know, but it still happens, though.
I guess.
Anything else? So, like I said, CGI for Scooby a little better in this, and the monsters too. The monsters are pretty good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow he uses randemonium, because we hadn't come up with unobtainium yet,
wow.
to make the monsters real.
Yeah.
So if there was a guy that was wearing a tarp and he was like, oh, I'm tar and I've got a apparatus that squirts tar from under my arms. Yeah. Now he's a literal tar monster.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sure. It's science. How do you make a real ghost?
I don't know.
This one is super science, but it's a little more science based, which is why I think the second one should have been the first one.
Yeah, I agree. I have a question. So the guy who ended up being
talk about CGI, but...
Oh, okay. Let's talk about the CGI.
It's good, but it's not great because they have an entire scene where Matthew Lillard and a fake dog surf down a mountain, and it's all fake. There isn't just a stunt man on a sled.
Right.
The whole thing is CGI.
And they're followed by two evil
work.
CGI skeletons.
Who are supposed to be big comedy characters, but never really land. And
they're not that funny.
Were they monsters in another cartoon? I don't remember them from anything.
I don't remember them for anything. And they weren't like costumes. So they must have just been like the vultures first. Well, I'm going to animate these bones.
The vulture.
I don't know what to call. What is his?
I'll kill you. I'll kill your dog.
Yeah. What was his name? Jacob Jacobian or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So I mean,
it's pretty
that
clear
wasn't
it was him from the beginning.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe it was the Peter Boyle character. I kind of thought that Alicia Silverstone was involved at some, to some extent. I thought that having Seth Green be at the evil guy's lair was actually a pretty good red herring, because I thought, oh, how is he involved? I wasn't sure, but I kind of thought that he was, and that never really paid off for me. Like, why was he snooping around? Like, was he just trying to get down to the bottom of the mystery too? Like,
yeah.
But
the answer was yes, I guess.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But then I do have another question for you.
Sure.
Who has the shrine to Jacob Jacobian? Was it
I guess it's
Jacob
Jacobian.
He's like, here is a shrine to myself in my secret lair.
That's all I can think of.
Weird.
That or the totally random, not a name, don't know the actor's name character they brought in at the end as like the real red herring or whatever, because because Metalhead or whatever had an assistant, and it was the cameraman who we never focused or had a conversation with or did anything with throughout the entire film.
We had not seen really throughout the film. Yeah.
Not an old man Withers moment.
No.
Anyway, there's good stuff in this. We talked about. I like I said, I thought that it was weird that they couldn't catch a frisbee, but but that's the important part of the climax.
Yeah.
They really kind of shoved that in. Why not start the movie with that?
Yeah.
But like work is being done here. Mm-hmm. But again, the stakes are lower in this, and the mystery is more conventional. Why wasn't it the first one? I like that there's a cotton candy monster
that Scooby Doo and Shaggy like eat.
Which is it alive? Is it in their bellies now as living cotton candy? How does that even work?
I don't know.
But I did like, it's a moment of triumph for them, because when you think about it, the entire mystery gang, but definitely these two, spend every day of their life in abject terror at the things that, and they know that it's probably a guy in a mask, but they won't be any less dead.
Yeah.
And so it's a win for them, because they're confronted by a spooky cotton candy monster, and they're like, all right, well, you came into the wrong dungeon, pal.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We're going to eat you. Yeah. And at the end, Scooby uses a fire extinguisher to freeze the tar guy. That's not how fire extinguishers work. They don't have Freon in them.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. But it's a cartoon.
It was fun. And like Shaggy and Scooby got to be, useful in like the climactic moment.
Absolutely.
So I think that was important.
I like that. So the budget for this was either $25 million or $80 million.
What? That's a huge range.
Yeah, I can believe the $25 million, because this movie does feel cheaper than the first one.
But why wouldn't they?
But somehow they spent $80 million on the first one.
Yeah,
so.
I would imagine they got about as much money. I don't know.
So Warner Brothers is doing their own thing now. They've got this HBO thing. They've got their comic book properties.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years. How do you bring this back? I say you Bill and Ted Face the Music it.
Oh, sure.
The gang ages in real time, although they're from the 70s. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And they're older now, and they've got to get, they were supposed to continue to fight spooks and goblins and stuff like that, and they've got to get back on track.
They've fallen apart somehow. Yeah. How do you explain that Scooby is still around? Sorry, I didn't mean to make it dark.
I don't think we've ever worried about that. I mean, especially when we go, Scoob, the only thing I like better than an eggplant burger is an eggplant burger covered in chocolate.
Yeah, I know.
And Scooby's like, ooh, give me some of that.
I know. Oh, no!
You can eat anything you want, Scoob, just not that chocolate. Stay away from the buffet.
No, good point. Good point.
There's a chocolate fountain. Yeah, right? That's a problem.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's definitely a problem.
There's something really weird here that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, I think this was shot in Canada, and here's why.
Oh, the second one?
Because when that really weird sequence where, and I feel like it's pretty true, except for the midriff. It's pretty true to the comic, the kind of situation that they would get into when Shaggy and Scooby start drinking random chemicals.
Yeah.
And Shaggy turns into a Shaggy chick.
Yeah.
So he's got a woman's body, and Matthew Lillard's head sort of inexpertly CGI'd onto a girl's body. That girl was Nazanin Afshinjam,
Okay.
She is an Iranian-Canadian human rights activist, author, and public speaker, former Miss World Canada.
Whoa.
And she's married to Peter MacKay, former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada. So certainly something that she's not proud to have on her LinkedIn page.
Wow. Why would she do that?
Because she was a model 15 years ago before she became a human rights activist.
Wow. That's weird. Okay.
But she is Iranian-Canadian, so there's representation in there. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The female body of Shaggy.
Well, speaking of female bodies, certainly no lack of them in this. I think the first movie is rather exploitative. The second movie has a better attitude about it, I think, because we're specifically having like Velma decide to sex up her image, and they put her in like this ridiculous cat suit, and they get all the jokes out of it they can. The best one being that, you know, she's got the cleavage in the cat suit, and after she blows it with Seth Green, she's like, oh, and she unzips it, and then like her sweater comes out.
I loved that.
Like, that's good. That's good stuff.
That was hilarious. Yeah, that was really great.
Which is okay. So bargain basement, end of the line. What'd you think?
I think it was more entertaining than I was expecting, and I think they were better done than I was expecting to, and I enjoyed them more than if you had asked me before watching them if I would like those movies. I probably would have said probably not, because I gotta tell you, I didn't rush out to the theater and watch them when they came out.
I laughed as much as I rolled my eyes.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't rolled my eyes as much as I had, and I think if these weren't made, as I was trying to point out before, but I guess you didn't vibe with it, in the Dirty Aughties, when they were just so clearly sort of empty. James Gunn was doing everything he could to like put like intelligence and like clever like references in, but they were just clearly just there to, you know, make kids come and go, oh yeah, Scooby-Doo and Sugar Ray.
Right.
Who, by the way, there's
had
never
monsters inside them.
Yeah, they were possessed too.
Yeah,
but it wasn't turned into like some kind of plot point or something like it was in Josie and the Pussycats. Like they're literally just get those guys, and like Sugar Ray, they're breaking the glass with a guitar.
Yeah,
and it never comes back.
No.
I think if they've just been made with a little more care. Still, obviously, a ploy to separate you from your money. They would have been better. But that being said, didn't regret watching them. No. Don't know if I'd ever do it again.
No. I mean, would you watch a third one if it came out, like, and it was written by James Gunn?
Yeah, if they do the Face the Music.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Face some dumb pun that doesn't make any sense. Face the monsters. Oh, that actually makes sense.
That actually makes sense, and it's kind of cute.
Face the ghouls. James, it's monsters starts with them. It's up to you, man.
Yeah, right.
You got the typewriter.
Yeah.
Go and face the ghouls. Okay.
You remind me of a man. Oh, the man with the power. Oh, the power of voodoo. Oh, you do. You remind me of a man. Yeah, the man with the power. Yeah, the power of voodoo.
So there you go. Spooky, scary? I don't know.
There's ghosts. Ghosts.
Ghosts for real.
Yeah.
If they were like aliens or something. Because you can't plan for aliens. That's just science.
We never really know, like...
No, they're like literal demons from hell.
Oh, okay.
I think we know that, don't we?
But, like, how does, like, Scrappy-Doo...
Human beings have souls.
Summon them, like, with the little...
Scooby goes to the forest to get his basket of free hamburgers, his pillowcase of free hamburgers, and he's like, thank you to God. So God is canon.
Right. I mean, does the little pyramid thing, I can't remember what it's called.
the Hellraiser box?
Yeah, right. Is that what helped Scrappy-Doo and his minions?
Like we have such sights to show you, man.
Yeah, right. Oh no, I'm picturing Shaggy as Pinhead. Weird.
Scooby is the chitterer.
Okay. Yeah, right. That works.
Like, come to daddy.
There's only like 4 of them. Like,
all right, we've done enough.
Okay,
we've done enough damage. That's it for our show this week. Go to social medias and join us in the pleasures of the island.
Yes.
Whatever that is. On Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, all those places. We'd love to chat with you. We've got a Discord as well. You could find that in the show notes. Mm-hmm. And go to your listening platform of choice, whatever it is. Spookify.
Yes.
iBones.
iBones? What?
Quick, before I take all the ones you know.
Oh, I just realized.
She just spilled her water everywhere. So we're going to move on from this bit. Join us there.
Sorry.
Subscribe to the show so you get it as soon as it comes out. You can also leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. And give us a rating, because honestly, that's how we move forward in this computerized world of exploiting children through KFC and Sugar Ray. I feel like Brandon Fraser going into the ground in early 2000 and then coming out now and going, hey, where's all the Sugar Ray? I thought they were going to last forever. Give me a warm Dr. Pepper. So, yeah, give us 5 dogs dressed up as a woman in both films.
Yep.
That's their move.
Yep.
He's going to be a woman.
Shaggy was he supposed to be a pimp when they went to the bar in that one scene?
How did we not talk about that?
I don't know.
The casual mainstreaming of pimps as well. I forgot. That's the Dirty Aughties.
Yeah.
Gonna miss them.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us 5 stars and just stay out of that. We'll be back in the future to talk about more spookaroos, and until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.